Well, I think life was different in the 1950s. Living where we did, first in small holdings. I mean, my father, he cycled to work he was a gardener at St Healy Hospital. I cycled as well, did a lot of cycling as a child. But the thing is, we didn't have television, not until 1959. There were no videos. We didn't have anything. We didn't really have a radio. Just occasionally we might listen to my grandparents' wireless, perhaps, for Queen's speech. But that meant all the time was out in the fresh air, out in the garden. My father know it was called a soapbox, where we could make it out of an old pram or something, put wheels on it, and my brother and I would be pushed up and down the driveway. And we'd then walk down to the Oaks Park, which was only a 5-minute walk down the road, and play games there. We also had, just round the corner, a little shop which did groceries and sweets, I think, by name of Mrs Lane, but sadly she died back in the 50s. I have a memory of a person named Bunny who owned a cycle shop in Ross Road, Wallington, and he used to carry my grandmother's shopping up from the trolley bus. I remember telling me that. But lots of these memories of a child in Carshalton, and I think they were happy times, and I don't think we'll see the same sort of times again, because nowadays people are too protective, too many health and safety regulations, and of course too much perhaps indoor entertainment. We went out for our entertainment, we went walking, we went for pictures, we went to see Father Christmas and Selfridges in London, and so on.
Wow, do you remember going to see Father Christmas?
Yeah, perhaps my mother liked to take us there. We'd take the trolley bus probably into Croydon, for 109 bus up to central London, and see Father Christmas. And I've always got a memory had with him, Uncle Holly. Nowadays Father Christmas has to have the elves and the pixies, but distinctly remember Uncle Holly, and I suppose we had a present. But it was all good, happy memories.
Do you have any memories of the local shops or anything that was locally?
Well, the local shops, not so much. I mean, with parents we went, well, mainly we went into Croydon, but I did, some years ago before she died, which is what we're doing now, but unfortunately the tape I recorded on is a bit jumpy, but asking about her early memories of shopping in Croydon. For shops, for example, where my father got his hair cut, if anyone knows the Reeves Corner area at Croydon, the Reeves furniture store is still there, but all the old shops leading to the old Pit Lake Bridge completely gone. My father used to get his hair cut there. We bought a television in Reeves store. A lot of these buildings are gone. The old Kennard's arcade in Croydon, now I think it's Debenhams, they were part of the old Croydon, and the shops were different. Sainsbury's, Woolworths. Sainsbury's in those days, you would buy things at one counter and pay for it, and buy something else at another counter, well before for superstores. Woolworths, even that's now a memory. But I remember that Woolworths, you'd buy broken biscuits, things like that. So with the advent of the supermarket, the smaller shops are closed. But where I lived locally in Stanhope Road, when I first moved here in 1959, just a short while away, distance away, we had a coal yard, and next to that coal yard there were a couple of small shops, a fish and chip shop. But all these little small corner shops, most of them have now gone to be replaced by the larger stores or supermarkets. But of course they were more friendly, more personal. My mother used to go to a shop called Abbott's in Stone Park Road and order ham and that sort of thing. We didn't have a telephone at home, so we had to walk round to the telephone. You used to walk round to get my father's newspaper, even to buy cigarettes in those days. He gave up smoking many years before he died, but even just go to the local shop to buy the cigarettes.
Wow, and was there a favourite shop that you ever had?
I don't know if I had a favourite shop. Other things I remember there was, and still is, a shop called Hewitt's in Croydon. I think other shops like the Co-ops, they used to have a funny sort of system of almost like trolley bus overhead wires, where the counter assistant would take the money from the customer, say a £5 note, put it in a little container and send it through to a central little accountancy place in the store. So we'd take out the money and the bill and put a change and send it back down along a little chute, rather than the actual counter assistant handling the money. But all of these funny things stick in your mind as all strange and perhaps unique. And whilst it was to an extent basic, because back in the late 50s, in those times we still had the coal fire. The coalman would deliver the coal fire would heat the water, and so during the summertime, whilst we didn't need a fire, we wouldn't really have hot water, but we had a big copper, which was gas, and that would heat water and carry buckets up to the bath. We had an indoor toilet, and many people in those days would have had outdoor toilets. We had gas, and we actually put the coins in a gas meter, and the gasman would come and empty it periodically. We had the Corona man. Corona was a soft drink company, and they used to deliver lemonade. You even think of dandelion burdock, which is some strange concoction of drink. And also the other thing is we had a garden. My father had his old part of the small holdings. He growed his vegetables there. He was a gardener at St Healy Hospital, so he had his own garden. We had a big privet hedge in the front, and in the back garden he could grow vegetables. He could grow potatoes, strawberries, gooseberries. He also had some very tall sunflowers, and that's what he really enjoyed doing, going about in the garden, growing his flowers, and it was nice relaxation, and that certainly had a very happy memory.